Thank you for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show. It is, what is today, Tuesday? Gosh, I don't even know what today is. Today is Wednesday. Thank you for joining me on this show. It is Wednesday, April 26, 2017, and this is a special broadcast of Will God Save California, Korea, and Stuff Part 2. And it is a compilation of 3 of my previous broadcasts before I get into Part 3, after all the news today of President Trump's meeting with all 100 senators today, and the release of new tax plans and stuff like that. But I want to go ahead and get right into it on this compilation Wednesday, and enjoy the show. And right after this, I'm going to go ahead and produce part 3 so we can be all up to date. Remember, pray for the U.S. Will California be saved? Will God save California? Check out that broadcast, as well as my previous links on my last broadcast, Massive Bible Prophecy Update. I have all the links from part 1 to part 6, so check that out. California, I believe, is due for a big surprise. I don't know if it's an earthquake or some type of attack, but listen to some of my broadcasts where I talk about my dream that I had of 2 explosions. One was nuclear and one was a conventional type of an explosion in the San Diego Harbor area. So I believe that was prophetic. It was about several years ago that I had that dream. So this may all be directly related. You can see that everything is happening all at once. So keep the world in your prayers. I'm going to see A Case for Christ, the book that I helped promote when I was back in the radio days from 89 to 94. And D. James Kennedy actually interviewed the author of that book, how he was converted to Christ by Christ himself. He was a journalist, and he set out to prove the Bible wrong so he could set his wife straight. Instead, he was converted by the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to see that movie right now with my sister. She's got a couple of free tickies, and we're going to go check it out. And I'll be back with you soon afterwards with a complete update on what's going on in biblical perspective. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. All right, that was one of my previous programs about the Case for Christ movie. Go ahead and go see it. It was awesome. Now check this one out from a couple days ago, Moab, Dead Judges, Korea. And I added Will God Save California. And after that will be the show called Next Subject. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and play it through the audio, because for some reason it didn't have the play button. Here it goes. So much for that idea. Where was I? Oh, come on. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play the next subject. I wanted to throw out a thought that maybe, I want to make my book that I've been talking about, Making America Righteous Again, from Bitterness to a Delight. And you can look through my lineup and check out that title also. But I want to make it available through download. And it is on Amazon right now in Kindle form for, I believe, like $4.70. I want to sell as many of those as I can, so I can actually be able to afford to have it printed, so I can actually mail it out to people. But before then, I would like for it to be available by download, and by doing that, I'm going to read the whole book, and I guess it'll be several parts, broadcasts, several different chapters of time, until I have it all on podcasts, available for a podcast. So if you want, go ahead and give me some comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think. And I actually have one broadcast where I read one of the chapters already. So go ahead and find that and just let me know. This is Mike Tobin. Thank you for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show, and stay tuned for whatever the next subject will be. And keep an eye out for my book that will be in broadcast form, and it'll be available for download for those who can actually help me with my show. Because I'm in California right now, and things are already getting very, very, very hot in California politics, and I know I am going to be able to be useful for people around the country on what is going on in California politics, especially for people in California. Politics and a spiritual perspective. And go ahead and look up Franklin Graham. I was actually last March 31st, I was at the state capitol in Sacramento for one of the 50 stops that Franklin Graham did with his prayer tour for all 50 capitals in the United States, and it was a wonderful time. It was I played a part as the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team chaplain. I've been a chaplain with them since 2003. Responded to a couple of local fires here in San Diego, as well as a few hurricane locations in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida since 2003. And Hurricane Katrina, especially, before and after that. So, the sale of my book will be able to help me to publish it in paper form, and it will help me to, I'm praying to go full-time broadcasting and response with the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team, and to be able to broadcast wherever I'm at, because I know the world needs people who are watchmen on the wall. The Bible says that Jesus said that the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. I'm single. I am available. God doesn't send the able, He sends the available, right? God qualifies the sent. He doesn't send the qualified necessarily, but He qualifies those who are available. So I'm in a perfect position to do that, so I'm praying for support for that. So my next project, I believe, is going to be getting my book in podcast form. So thanks for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show, and have
a wonderful day.
And that is not the official title of that largest non-nuclear bomb in the world, first time ever used today in Afghanistan, but the military calls it the mother of all bombs. What is significant about the acronym Moab? That's a place, of course, it's in Jordan, and it is a place in Jordan mentioned many, many times throughout the Bible and even the New Testament. The children of Moab were actually descendants of Lot, and there's really hardly any, if any, good relations that Israel ever had with Moab. They were actually at war with Moab quite often, and were actually subjects of Moab for an 18-year time period as well. But Moab, why does our military use biblical acronyms? How about Amos 6? Does anybody remember Amos 6? That was an Israeli satellite rocket which included a Facebook satellite on it that would have provided Wi-Fi for several different huge regions in Africa, but that rocket failed a couple of years ago, 1 or 2 years ago. but that was titled Amos 6. And if you look up Amos chapter 6, it's like, why would somebody name a satellite or a project Amos 6? So you look at the origins of the names, and these are just two names. I want to deal with a little bit about. And how about the kings of the East? Does anybody consider North Korea the kings of the East? Well, I just had that kind of a unique thought today, the kings of the East. And there's a group of Chinese Islamics that reside in areas of China that border on the regions east of Turkey. Well, they're called the Uyghurs or Uyghurs. I believe it's spelled Uygher, and they are Islamics, and they're in many countries, in the Pakistans, in the Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, a whole bunch of areas, countries. They have large populations, and it's something that hardly anybody has ever even heard of, the Uyghurs. But they may just well be directly related to the kings of the East, as all those places are east of the Tigris and the Euphrates. Well, the Tigris and the Euphrates, according to prophecy, are supposed to dry up. Well, they are drying up already. And both Tigris and the Euphrates are, the Tigris is either east of Turkey, but the Euphrates is actually in Turkey, the beginning of the Euphrates River. And if they were to stop the flow of the Euphrates River right from the beginning of it, all the water comes down from snow melt and everything from the mountains. If they were to stop the flow, the Euphrates will definitely dry up. And those rivers have been experiencing drought for years, but the kings of the East are supposed to go across the Euphrates. Real news, I believe, is the New York Court of Appeals Justice, one of the first Muslim woman to be a justice of that high court, has been found floating in the Hudson River. It is my understanding that people aren't found floating in the Hudson River. They're usually weighted down with concrete, what they call concrete boots or whatever. But this person was, the New York Police Department has actually said that there were no signs of foul play, which is kind of an interesting comment. So my immediate thoughts was, do you think that the quote powers that be will not do any type of retribution for the mysterious death that went uninvestigated without an autopsy of Supreme Court Justice Scalia a couple years ago when he died, and it was mysterious. So my immediate thoughts was, do you think that the so-called powers that be will not get even for that? That's what I believe it is. But please, folks, with your support, I can do this full time, and I am in Southern California. Another article about North Korea. They're saying either Russia or North Korea, they possibly have submarines outside of our coast, and some anti-sub missions has been quite busy. So people are surmising that there are at least Russian subs off the coast of California, and that I talked about a dream that I had of two explosions here in San Diego a couple of years ago, and I've said that Russia, along with Iran, they've already threatened us. If we do this, they will do that. Now, if we did this, and they haven't done that yet. We've done some other things that they said, if we do this, they'll do that, and they still haven't done that yet. My last broadcast was, will God save California? Well, it has to do with this also, not just the economy. So tune in next, and folks, please, with your help, I can do this full time. California is a hotbed. I said that in another broadcast, that I want to be useful here in Southern California. And as things heat up with elections and with world military events. Mark my words, folks, it's happening a really beautiful day.